Good morning, Patriots. How are you today? I hope you're doing a wonderful. I'm doing well myself. It is 8:33 a.m. This is Mike, the Patriot, coming to you live from Central Missouri. My internet still sucks today, and I can see it lagging as I'm talking to you, and I apologize about that. It is what it is. Make sure I ain't got something else running here I can take off. Let me close that window. What do we got here? Okay. So it is 8:34 a.m. on 3/5/2021, the year that everything blows up. 2020 was the year the conspiracy theory became reality. I haven't really named this year yet. We'll come up with something. I hope you have a nice warm cup of coffee. I have one. And again, I'm glitching. I can see it. Don't even have to tell me. I know it. Sorry about the sip. It's very warm. I love me a strong cup of coffee. But good news is sometime between when they get here and they leave, they're coming to fix my internet. That's right. I'm going from 10 megabytes per second download and 1 megabyte per second upload on my DSL, which sucks. And right now, I bet you if I ran a test, I'm not even getting 2 or 0.5. If I ran a test, it would probably knock me off of here. But they're going to give me 600 megabytes per second down and 35 megabytes per second up. I paid for a little extra. I thought it can't hurt. I bet you it's going to make this a whole lot smoother of an operation. So just hang in there with me. I'm working on it. So I hope you're all having a great day. I got a lot to talk about today. There's a whole lot going on in the financial system, and I got some other stuff I want to cover before I get to that and bore you with a bunch of numbers. But I think you need to understand. I think you know it. Have you bought any silver? If you haven't, you might not be able to find it, but you probably might think about it. I just bought a whole bunch of Eisenhowers. Did you know that Eisenhowers are 40% silver? Silver, even if it's only 40%. Just saying. But I turned that down. I apologize. Let me turn this sucker down. I did turn it down. Okay. Anyways, so what I want to talk about. So Candace Owen the other day tweeted this. He said, about 10 of my friends who attended Trump's speech but did not go to the Capitol building thereafter have had the FBI turn up at their door and ask them why they went to D.C. I thought we were free. I thought we could travel wherever we wanted to, but I guess not. This is criminal intimidation. Our FBI is trying to scare conservatives against future gathering in the future. But that is an interesting point by Candace Owen. Now, let me tell you something. I was going to go. I couldn't go because of the day it happened to fall on was also the day that my mom planned knee surgery, and I promised her I'd take her. So I did. It's the only time I've ever worn a mask, by the way, for my mama. Now, I have several friends, maybe not 10, but a handful, 5, 6, that were there. I talked to all of them while they were there. When all this was happening, I reached out to every one of them. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what you know. They all told me the same story. They said a bunch of wackos, a bunch of non-us people, a bunch of Antifa types with brand new mega hats on and whatnot stormed the Capitol. And the police just let them in. They all told me the same exact story. Interesting, I thought at the time. So I had one of my friends tell me a story the other day. He said, you know what happened to me? I said, what's that? He said, I got a phone call from the FBI. They came out and talked to me twice. The second time they came with a Secret Service agent. I said, but you never went in the Capitol. He said, no. But they wanted to ask me all kinds of questions and stuff like that. I won't get into the questions that they asked. So I reached out to the other friends of mine, and they all told me that they've been contacted in one form or another by the FBI. What the hockey stick is going on around here? The FBI is questioning people who showed up in D.C. to listen to the President of the United States give a speech. Yes, Donald Trump at January 6th was still President of the United States. He was President of the United States till the 20th. Might still be President of these United States, but that's a different story. We'll talk about that some other time. Or look it up for yourself. The United States and these United States. What's the difference? So anyways, it boggles my mind to think about, that's a Rush Limbaugh reference, to think about that the FBI is questioning people. Where were they all summer long when they were burning down cities across this country? Where were they when your mom and pops were losing their business, losing their lives trying to defend their businesses? Where were the FBI then? Nowhere to be seen, didn't care, not a problem. But a bunch of Americans show up to the American Capitol to cheer on an American president, and the FBI wants to go question him when they weren't even involved in the so-called insurrection erection? Something wrong here, folks. Something massively wrong here. I don't have the answers, just reporting the news. Take a big cup of whatever it is you're drinking. It is 5 o'clock somewhere, right? So breaking news. YouTube deletes all videos of President Trump's CPAC speech and suspends right side broadcasting networks for 2 weeks. Why? Right side broadcasting is pretty much a legit news reporting agency. No, they're not CNN or MSNBC, and they don't have that kind of money, but they do a pretty good job. And at least they were there covering it. The former president of the United States of America shows up to CPAC, which is a huge political action committee, which is huge. It's kind of like some of the ones on the other side. Does a speech, gets 4 million views. This is what. Oops, the wrong one. Whoops. We'll get to that one in a minute. I forgot I had to load this because I forgot to. Right Side Broadcasting has been suspended from YouTube for 2 weeks because of our Trump CPAC 2021 speech, which violated their guidelines on election misinformation. Prove it. The video was approaching 4 million views, and they also had removed it from the platform. The fascists just keep going while the sheep are in deep sleep, brought by the mind-controlling devices, meaning your phones and everything else, MSNBC, whatnot. Can it get more evident than this? They took down Trump's speech from YouTube. They banned right side broadcasting for 2 weeks because of election misinformation. What misinformation is that, YouTube? I'm on your platform right now. You probably banned me. What misinformation is that? Well, it's been proven in court. Nothing's been submitted. No evidence has ever been submitted in court. Tell me exactly what is misinformation. That the president, the former president of the United States, what exactly is misinformation? Can you tell me that? That's the question I want to know. Any of you trolls out there trolling right now, can you tell me what was misinformation? What did he say that was misinformation? That was not true. Because I got mounds and mounds of evidence I can present to you. What can you present to me? I bet no one ever takes me up on that. What do you think? Because they don't want the evidence out there. Just like Dominion, although they're rattling their saber saying they're going to sue Sidney Powell and Lyd Wood and the pillow guy, Mike Lindell, they're not going to sue them. Disclosure is a bitch. They're not going to sue them. They're not going to. They don't want this in court. They don't want to argue this out. They got to prove defamation. They got to prove what they said was wrong. They don't want to do that in court. I'm telling you right now. Because those, I'm pretty sure Sidney Powell eat them for lunch. What do you think? So here's another one. Disinformation and right-wing conspiracies are spreading faster than ever. Yes, they are. They're on CNN and 2020 and 60 Minutes and a 5-part miniseries on HBO, all about the QAnon conspiracies, which doesn't exist. It's either Q or Anons. And the Anons talk about the Qs, and the Qs don't really talk about the. Anyways, you get the idea. So the disinformation is spreading faster than ever, and de-radicalizers or exit counselors, we call those brainwashers on our side, who specialize in helping people caught up in cultic ideologies to reconnect with reality are struggling to keep up with demand. That's interesting, because as I'm reading that, I'm thinking about how some Christian organizations have counselors to help people who decided that they're not gay anymore recover from that lifestyle. Now, if you want to be gay, I'm very libertarian in this. You go live your life, just leave me out of it. You know what I mean? You go, I'll leave you out of my life, and you leave me out of your life, and everything's good, right? So that's what I'm talking about. But those who choose to change their mind, they go seek help. Well, in states like California, New York, it's illegal to give them that help. Here we are talking about the exact same thing. And that's okay, because these are conservatives, so to speak. So Murray on Twitter, Roughbrand1776, Rough Beard, Rough Bard, how do you say his name? I don't care. I'm bad with names, and I don't care. I'm a redneck. Get over it. I don't have an education. Tough. You're still here watching. How about those who thought Trump was a Russian agent, or that there would be an insurrection today? That was yesterday. Didn't happen, did it? Or the Fine People hoax, still repeated by Biden, or the Kavanaugh accusations, or Jesse Smollett, or Bubba Wallace, or Nick Sandman, or COVID would kill 2 million plus people, or how about Stormy Daniels was going to bring down Trump, or Michael Cohen went to Prague, or that Trump Towers had a back channel Russian banks, or that there was a Russian consulate in Miami, or that Omarosa had tapes with Trump saying the N-word, or that Trump would start a war with North Korea, or that Trump disrespectfully dumped fish into the pond when meeting with PM Shinzo Abe, which is of Japan, or Republicans were destroying the post office, or Trump would leave office. Any of those conspiracies or claims pan out? What about what we're looking for, the de-radicalizers and exit counselors for those conspiracy theories? What about them? Well, yeah. But that's all true, because Trump, Orange Man bad. That's why we had to go and fortify the election. So the Time Magazine article, fortify the election. You want proof? Read that article. Trump even said that. Read the article. Oh, we got to take that down. That's got to be banned. Well, ban the article then. You said it. It's your words. It's your side that you had to fortify the election by manipulating things. It was you. It was your president, your faux president, foe in the hoe, who came out and said we have the largest, most intrusive, most whatever in history of America election fraud organization. It was them that said it. He said that. I didn't put the words in his mouth. It's not my fault that he's suffering from the first stages of dementia, and that one of the symptoms is that you have no filter and you have to say the truth. Anyways, but I don't know nothing about that. So moving along. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. So the next thing that come along, I'm kind of going through these kind of quick because I want to get to money stuff. Every single American should be outraged by this. Democrats just voted to ban voter ID nationwide and force every state to permanently expand mail-in voting. And eventually we'll have it on our phones. It will be so convenient. You just do. It'll be like American Idol. You'll have Ryan Seacrest come on the screen and say, text 555-8744 for your American Idol president. And you could vote up to 10 times. It'll be great. Oh, yes, it'll be wonderful. And Kamala Harris will be reelected with 90% of the vote in all 50 states, thanks to Dominion. That's right, Kamala Harris, because they'll weaken and Bernie, Joe Biden, to get him to 2 years and a day, because constitutionally, under the United States of America, constitutionally, you have to, if the president serves for 2 years and a day and something happens, the vice president takes over and then can run 2 more years. Isn't that special? And in other news, Kumo advisors altered a report on coronavirus nursing home deaths, according to the Wall Street Journal. Top advisors of the New York governor, Andrew Cuomo, influenced state health officials to remove data from public reports that showed coronavirus-related nursing home deaths in the state had exceeded numbers previously acknowledged by the administration. Yeah, but the media doesn't care about that. They're too distracted. What are they distracted by? Eat the whole sausage. We can't get time. The media is way too distracted by that one.
Please disperse. Nothing to see here, please.
Please disperse. Nothing to see here. Look at that sausage. Woo! That's a nice sausage. Why don't you eat that whole sausage? The media is distracted by the whole sexual thing, which is like a badge of honor. Take a look at Bill Clinton. Woo! What a stud. Next thing you know, we're going to have, I'm telling you, we're going to find them the next week or two. You're going to have these starlets out in Hollywood going, oh, I'd love to eat a sausage with Kumo. It'll be great. Perverts. Preverts. That's from the movie. I shared that on my, by the way, if you want to follow me on all this stuff, check out Rumble. That's where I'm in mostly. And now I've got a page there on the Telegraph, and it's if you look up Patriot Mike's Thoughts, Patriot Mike Thoughts, all one word. You look that up, you'll be able to find it, and all this stuff, all the videos, all the stories that I'm talking about, I share onto that as I'm going through. That's how I'm organizing everything now. As I'm going through and I'm finding things and all the things that make me say, that's interesting. I put that in there. So if you want to know what I'm going to talk about the next day, or if you want to know where my mind's going, or you just want to go, hey, what did he talk about? It's on there. So go over there, and I'll put a link in the comments when I get around to it. Some of you already have it. You could probably share the link if you want. Just go over there, follow me, or follow however you join it. Whatever you do over there, however you do it on Telegraph, go over there and do that, and all this stuff will be in there. In fact, everything I'm talking about right now is already there. So. Oh, yeah, except for this picture. I'm not sure I shared that one. But anyways, I digress. Moving right along. So what are we talking about? The money. What's going on with your money? Have you bought any silver? So there's a book, and the book is authored by, and I can't remember the author's name, so I'm going to look it up real quick while I'm talking. The book is authorized by, see my inventory, the library. Where's that? I apologize. Titles. There we go. Where's that? James Wesley Rawlings. James Wesley Rawlings. Rawles. It's a fictional book. Some of you, it's called The Patriot. Some of you probably already read it. And he has several books. But it's a theoretical. It's fictional. It takes place in a time when there is a global financial collapse of the fiat currency system. And in his book, it talks about how devastating it doesn't happen in a day. It takes several days for this to happen. And it goes through the whole cycle of what could possibly happen. It's theoretical. And one of the things that happens is that people, instead of carrying goats, chickens, and llamas and piles and gallons of milk to barter with each other, they develop their own currency because the currency's collapsed. There is no currency at this point. And they're using pre-1964 silver coins. So why do I buy pre-1964 silver coins? Not for an investment, but just in case. The whole thing comes crashing down around us, because that would never happen. Then this. Stocks tumble as Powell signals inflation ahead. U.S. stocks tumbled Thursday as the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell predicted an increase in consumer prices this summer, something investors fear, and force interest rates. Boy, they make it sound so wonderful. Yes, Jerome Powell. Powell, speaking to a conference Thursday, predicted strong job growth. That's terrifying. And increased consumer prices as vaccines roll out and the economy fully opens, but caution that the Fed does not think the economy is at risk of overheating. No, not going to overheat. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you heard the expression when predicted strong job growth when Donald Trump was president. Now, Donald Trump had the lowest unemployment in American history. Lowest Black unemployment, Hispanic unemployment, everybody who wanted a job had a job under Donald Trump. His economy was explosive. But you never heard the media or anyone in the media or anybody in the government or anywhere that made the prognosticators say, things are great, strong job growth ahead. Know what they kept saying? Oh, recession's coming. Recession's coming. It's coming just around the corner. Next quarter, better watch and see. Next quarter gets here, 5.9% growth. What's going on here? The greatest next quarter, record growth. Never happened before like that. What's going on here? We need to destroy this economy. We got to get it down. Orange man bad. Now Joe Biden's president. What do they say? They say strong job growth. Everything's great, but it's not going to overheat. Still, the market reacted strongly to this interview. Yeah, it went down. It crashed. The 10-year U.S. government bond yield jumped. Woo! It was up at 0.07 and at 1.54%. Oh, gee, inflation is like 4 or 5%. That sucks around the time of the closing bell. Yeah, but the stock market crashed. Bitcoin crashed. Everything crashed. What's going on? Doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. What are you talking about? And then there's this. Fed rate line for intervention is broken. Repo market. Now, what's that? What's a repo? The repo market is broken. The 10-year trading is below fall's charge. In fact, the trading is below the theoretical repo minimum. So what does this mean? What's going on? So I had to look it up. I didn't have a clue. What are we talking about? Okay, what is a repo market? What is that? The repurchase agreement or repo market is an obscure but important part of the financial system that has drawn increasingly attention lately. On average, $2 trillion to $4 trillion in repurchase agreements collateralize short-term loans. Think payday loans, or think more along the lines of check kiting places, where you can go write a check for $200, get $150 for 15 days, and then they'll cash that check. They make $50 and everything's great. Let me read that again to you. On average, $2 trillion to $4 trillion in repurchase agreements catalyzed in short-term loans are traded each day. But how does the market for repurchase agreements actually works? And what's going on with it? What is the repo market? A repurchase agreement, or repo, is a short-term secured loan, like a check kiting place. One party sells securities to another and agrees to repurchase those securities at a later at a higher price. Those securities serve as collateral. The difference between securities and initial price and their repurchase price is interest paid on the loan. For example, this is me explaining, not them. If I was to say to you, I am going to sell you short term because I need some cash today and buy back tomorrow $100 savings bond, U.S. government backed. You can get 1.5% interest. Oh, isn't that wonderful? I'm going to sell you this bond, but I'm going to sell you this bond. I'm selling to you for $100. It's a $100 bond, but I'll buy it back tomorrow for 110. You make $10. Isn't that great? And you're like, yeah, I'll do that. So I sell you the bond, come back to you tomorrow, give you 110, buy the bond back. Got my cash, short-term loan. Everybody's happy. Okay? So what they did is they purchased a short-term secured loan. One party sells security to another and agrees to repurchase the securities later at a higher price. The security serves as collateral. The difference between the securities and initial price is the interest paid on the loan, the profit, also known as a repo rate. The reverse purchase agreement, reverse repo, is a mirror of the repo transaction. In a reverse repo, one party purchases security and agrees to sell it back for a positive return at a later date, often as soon as the next day. Most repos are overnight, though they can be longer, okay? Why is it important? Repo market allows financial institutions who own lots of securities, i.e., brokers, dealers, hedge funds. We'll get back to that in just a second. We'll pause there. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Okay. So, what's the deal with this? Why is this important? Why does this matter to us? I found this. I posted most of these articles in their entirety on my Telegraph page. So go check them out there. But this is just part of it right here. Following the global financial crisis, which erupted in 2007, various rates of return in Europe started to become negative. Since 2014, negative rates have become persistent and widespread. Initially, many cash investors have been reluctant to accept negative rates, including parties to repo transactions being it's a tough word for me to say, remunerated on deposits of cash margin and income due. I'm not smart. I just act like it. On securities they have given as collateral. Okay. So the including parties, Since 2014, negative rates have become persistent and widespread. This is in the money supply. Initially, many cash investors have been reluctant to accept negative rates, including parties of the repo transactions being remunerated on deposits of cash margin and on income due, and on securities they've given as collateral. It means they don't want to accept negative rates. Now, what's that mean? Before the crisis, repo was the only financial instrument which paid a rate of return that could become negative under normal market conditions. Negative repo rates can happen when a particular collateral security is subject to exceptional borrowing demand or reduced supply in the repo market. In order to borrow these securities, buyers have to tempt potential sellers with cheap cash. Cheap means repo rates less than the GC repo rate. When repo rates are a particular collateralized assets falls below the GC repo rate, the asset is said to be on special. In the car business, we call that on sale. Does that make sense? Probably not. You're going, what in the hell is this guy talking about? Let me put this in another term. So, right now in the Senate, they're discussing the $1.9 trillion bailout package. You add that to the $4 trillion bailout package we had at the end of the year, and you add that to the $7 to $9 trillion bailout package we had in the summer. So that's 7, 8, 9, 14 to $15 trillion that the government spent, that they pulled that money out of thin air. Pull it off that money tree, just like this. They're just like, woo, look at this money, woo, right? Where did all that money come from? I mean, it had to come from somewhere. It came from the Federal Reserve. Well, how'd they get it? Well, they sold bonds. I mean, the ones we're just talking about. Yeah. See, they were selling bonds to the bank, right? So they go to the bank and they'd say, buy our bonds. The bank's like, you guys just spent $16 trillion. I'm not buying your bonds. Ain't worth it. I ain't taking that risk. Yeah, but we need to sell these bonds. I ain't buying them. Fine. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'll sell you this bond. Remember that $100 bond that I sold you the other day for $100, and then I bought it back from you for $110 and everything was good? Yeah, but we don't want to do that because we don't trust your bonds anymore. So what happens is they say, okay, fine. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to sell you this $100 bond for $90. So you're going to give me 100 for 90. Yep, that's what we're going to do. So the banks go take their excess cash and they purchase billions of dollars in bonds on the margin, cheap, on sale, right? And then the Fed turns around the next day and says, okay, we want our bonds back. And I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and give you that 110 on those bonds. The bank's like, well, hell yeah, we just made a boatload of money for nothing. And the Fed just cleared all that $16 trillion off their books. Zoop. We're golden. We just printed a whole bunch of money out of thin air and made it look like we sold bonds to do it, but we didn't. That was what quantitative easing was. Remember QE1 and QE2 and QE3? We're still doing it. We just don't call it that anymore. But that's what they're doing. And that's why this is tanking, because everybody's taking a look at it going, no. I mean, how many times can you go to the check cashing place and cash that check? Because that's what they're doing. At some point, that check's got to hit the account, and there ain't no money there. Have you bought any silver or gold or something, lead, something? So this is from Silence Do Good MBA. And it says, let me get this just a little bit bigger so I can read it. It says, any carpenter can fill a foundation crack, same thing, with concrete to provide temporary relief from the eye. No carpenter can fix a flawed foundation with major structural changes. We are at the point where lipstick on the pig washes off practically overnight. Please remember, most people in the financial service industry are totally asleep to what's going on. They have families to take care of and are simply doing what they're being told to do and say in most cases. If you talk to your broker, he will laugh if you mention silver. Yet they are the same ones preaching diversification, non-collateral assets. Traditional financial pundits call gold an insurance hedge. But the Obama administration punished all precious metals, especially silver, with a multi-year market in order to substantially change the psyche of your broker, as well as the individual retail investor who always gets in at the top. You don't want to get in at the top, you want to get in at the bottom. The movement today, however, is the same grassroots movement, and the same financial experts are pissed that they didn't see the silver play. And they think they're either late to the game or that the fad, and it will have a severe correction as it usually has, they have no idea what's in store. Okay. So, waiting for my computer to catch up with me. All right. Oops, that's the wrong one. So what's going on there? What are we talking about? What's happening? Now, mind you, I'm still trying to put my head around this whole repo thing. But there's a crunch happening in the money supply. We have a fiat currency that doesn't really exist. And what they've been doing is they've been taking this liquidity, this massive amounts of cash, and they've been dumping it into the stock market, dumping it into Bitcoin, dumping it into the housing market. That's why I have all these bubbles everywhere. That's why the price is going up to the roof, going up to the roof, going up to the roof, going up to the roof. Huh? Isn't that amazing? And then when the Fed guy comes out and he says stock tumbled today after Powell predicting an increase in consumer prices and saying that jobs and everything are going up. Well, jobs are going up. The stock market should go up, right? And if the stock market crashes, how come silver and how come gold is crashing at the same time? It's totally manipulated. They're totally controlling all this, and they're doing it with that little repo thing as their mechanism. That's how they create all this cash to invest. Tell you how screwed up the market is right now. Now, I don't understand. I have no financial degree. I'm not like AOC. I didn't go to some prestigious college and get a degree in finance. So I'm not as smart as they are. But I do know the car business. I've been doing it a long time. And I was over at my favorite dealership where I buy a lot of used cars from my little car lot from. And they didn't have any. It's like, man, you guys ain't got no cars. I mean, they didn't have any cars in a lot. And they said, well, yeah, we don't have any new cars. These are all used. I said, well, it's the middle of the 2021 season. Why you should be stocked full of them? Don't have any. Have four new cars. 4. Usually they have hundreds. I said, what's going on? So he showed me his orders. He has 60, 70, I don't know, whole pages of orders for new cars. These are customers who came in, picked out, built new cars, and ordered them. Some of them all the way back into October. And they're not being fulfilled. They're not even allocated spots to be fulfilled. You could tell all that stuff. In heck, you could tell all that stuff 20 years ago when I was selling new cars. And I asked him, what's going on? He said, well, they're having problems sourcing supplies. See, this coronavirus shut down everything. And the people who make the microchips, or the people that make the nuts and bolts, or the people that make the stem for the tire, or the people who make whatever it is, weren't making them. And so the supply chain screwed up. They can't put the truck together because they ain't got enough nuts and bolts, or whatever it is. It is. So there's no new cars. So these people are ordering new cars. There's no new cars. You want to go in. If you're one of those people, God bless you, who likes to trade every year or two to a new car, God bless you, because without you, the market doesn't work. And you go in to buy a new car, well, it's not just this particular car company. It's all of them are having the same problem resourcing materials. I bet you there's manufacturers all over the country that are having the same problem. But the guy that likes to trade every couple of years, so he comes in and drives, he wants to buy a new car every couple of years. He goes in and he trades, drives away with a new car. He's got that sweet trade-in, the one with 20, 30,000 miles on it. It's the year or two old, the one that you like to buy, that sweet trade-in. Well, you trade in your car before it gets to 100,000 all the time, and you want that sweet trade-in. The one that was garaged, taken care of, only drove him to church on Sunday. You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, the guy that wants to buy your 80,000 mile, 8-year-old car to get to work every day, because that's a good car, he ain't trading in his 180,000 mile car that's 15 years old. Well, that's the car I buy for my tote-to-note car lot. So I don't have an inventory on my tote-to-note car lot to sell everybody. And I go to the auction, the price on these things are way through the roof because everybody's fighting over the scraps that are left, because the whole market is screwed up. And these people are predicting that the economy is going to be great. It's going to be great because Joe Biden's president. All through Trump, the economy was crashing. It was tanking. It was the worst ever. It's just around the corner. We're going into recession just around the corner. We're going into recession just around the corner. And all the economy kept doing was growing and growing and growing and growing. Finally got the coronavirus. They were able to shut it down. See, we told you it was going into recession. No, it never went into recession. You turned it off. As soon as Trump could, he turned it back on and bam-o, there it goes, take it off again. Because Trump knew how to do it. Government can't create jobs. Government can't create money. All they can do is get in the way of both of those things. Or not. It's interesting, this money stuff. Things are happening behind it. They are trying to, they're sticking their fingers in the dike, trying to stop the dam from bursting. And there's a Volkswagen-sized hole on the other end, and the water's just pouring out. Have you bought any silver or gold or anything? I'm just, hey, it's probably too late anyway. But if you get your hands on some, it's not an investment. I wouldn't look at it as an investment. It's not how I look at mine. But you might, might get you a loaf of bread or something in the future or something, a gallon of gasoline. Hang in there, folks. It's going to get crazy. And then one other thing, too. Kim Clement's prophecies, one keeps ringing in my head. One I don't understand. He's talking about Trump. It's not the timeline ones. It's another one. When he's talking about Trump becoming president, he's talking about his David. He says, you'll know his David when certain things happen. And he says, watch. Look and watch the stock market. And he says, 20,000. Well, we blew through 20,000 the first 6 months Trump was in office. So we're up above 30 now. 20,000. That goes both ways, right? You get it? It's just an observation. I'm not making any predictions. I'm just everything about Kim Clement's prophecies, when I first thought it was one thing, turns out to be something else. So I'm just saying, pay attention. God is still in control. He's still in charge. And this summer, spring, summer, fall in the fall, if you got your popcorn ready, are you sitting back? Are you enjoying the show? Because God is going to create a miracle for the world to see, and we're all going to get to watch it. So with that, I'm going to jump off here because they should be here between when they get here and when they leave. You know how it is with these kind of companies, right? We'll be there between sometime and never. And they get my internet turned on, and maybe tomorrow I can have a real good show, or Monday, or whenever I get back to doing it. So anyways, you guys have a great day. I'm going to jump off here. Make sure you go over to, and I'll post it in the comments, make sure you go over to Mike the Patriot, or I think if you search Patriot Mike's Thoughts or Mike's Patriot Thoughts, something like that, it'll come up in Telegraph, and I'll post all this stuff in Telegraph. And then follow me on Rumble, because if then they remove me from these platforms, it'll be Rumble that you'll be able to find me. So you guys have a great day. Share this video for me too, please, because somebody needs to hear it. Talk to y'all later.